Local history. Local culture. Local events. Your community. This is the Joe Kelly Show.
Hi there, everybody. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. Captain Michael Harrington is our guest. The good captain is with the Salvation Army at Clinton Place, 14 Clinton Place, I believe it is. And we're going to be talking to him about the stuff that he's involved with. He's always a busy man, but this time of the year, it's very busy for the Salvation Army. We'll talk about the programs they're doing and lots of other things. But first, we're going to say welcome. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me again.
You betcha. When I said this is your busiest time of the year, that was no exaggeration.
No, we got a lot of things going on at the Salvation Army. This is our iconic Red Kettle campaign. So we have that going on. We have our Christmas assistance program going on where we put angel trees into the community to help moms and dads provide gifts for children. And then we do what we do every year, which is provide food and meal services and different programs for the community.
What's the angel tree?
So the angel tree, we work with Operation Sunshine. We have formed a small Christmas bureau of agencies that we take Christmas assistant requests from October 15th to December 1st. And we spread them out amongst 5 different organizations. So there's there's no double dipping. We all get an even amount of people to serve. And they ask us to help them with Christmas this year. We go through some minimal guidelines and ask minimal questions, but some of the most important ones are what size is your child, what toy do they like, and then we take that information, we put it in our local stores such as Walmart, Planet Fitness, MMT Bank, First Source, Hair Design by Michelle, and these tags are actual children, so when you see the tag in the request, and you take that tag off a tree, you go purchase some of the items, you don't have to purchase them all. You bring them back to the location you got the tag from, we pick it up, and then we prepare it to go to the family.
And the bell ringing, which, as you say, is an iconic symbol of Christmas. How did that get started, the bell ringing?
Yeah, so it's interesting, out of need, of course, right? So there was a Salvation Army captain in San Francisco. He wanted to help feed the homeless, the vulnerable, and he didn't have the money to do it. So he said, how am I going to get this money? And he looked around his community, and there was a big fishing industry there. So he went out there with an actual crab pot. And as the people were coming off the boats at the end of the day working, they would put a donation in the crab pot, and eventually he got enough money together to feed all the people he was trying to feed. So it worked, so the Salvation Army continued to do it, and we've been having ministry here in Oneida County for over 130 years, and since 1897, there's been a Salvation Army Red Kettle on the streets of Oneida.
And they resemble a crab pot, yes?
Yes. Yep.
So the number, I know it's difficult to get people to come out and ring the bell every year. You've got more locations for the kettle than you've got people to ring, yes?
Yes, and it's interesting. So I've been in the city of Utica serving there for just under 10 years, and we actually lost stores since we've been here. JCPenney, Macy's, Herb Phillips, and Kmart.
Herb Phillipson's was a big one for you, wasn't it?
Yes, so things have gotten much more difficult, and even though we have less stores, we have a difficult time right now this year in particular getting volunteers out to bell ring for us. And we're in the middle of a pandemic, so I understand the challenges, and people have families, and it's difficult to fit time in, but it's been extra hard this year. But what we've noticed, when our kettles are out and we have ringers ringing, the community is a great partner for us. So that's what the Red Kettle is. It's a partnership with the Salvation Army and our community to help the most vulnerable people. And we have been blessed with a giving community, but we are down this year. We going into our last week, we are about halfway to our goal, which is $70,000. So, you know, it looks like we may fall short this year.
Yeah, I know that being said, but I know that that last week people seemed to really get the spirit and contribute. Yes,
that's right. So if you're interested in bell ringing, please contact our office. Call us. We'll get you scheduled. We ask for a 2-hour shift. That last week is the always the most given week. Out of every week we receive gifts, that is always the highest total and really helps close the gap. So if we're short, you know, we could kind of pull close or ahead right during that week.
Yeah, people like me should do that too, because I find that if you know or recognize the bell ringer, people are more apt to
That's
give.
right. So if you say you're going to volunteer, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, tell your church where you're going to be. Have them stop by, right? Visit you there. And I had the privilege to ring last week with Assemblywoman Buttonshaw down at Price Chopper, North Utica. It felt so good to get out of the office, right? Yeah. I didn't have to think about anything but being kind to people, ringing the bell, saying Merry Christmas, blessing people. It was just an enjoyable time.
How did she do? She's the chairman, chairwoman, right?
Yes, she is the chairwoman this year. So her and all her staff volunteered for us at different times, helping us get the message out. You know, just letting people know your donations to these buckets, they stay right in your community to help the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
Right.
The people that ring the bell, I've noticed for over the years, they really come in all sizes and shapes, don't they? I mean, from well-known people to people who just want to go out and try to make a difference.
That's right. So we have families coming. It's a great opportunity to take, do it as a family thing, to get your family into the spirit of giving, letting them know, letting your young people know that it's a great opportunity to give back and to help other people.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned that, because you brought back a memory for me. I remember one year I was up ringing the bell at a Walmart in New Hartford, and I brought my 2 granddaughters with me. And they had, they were a little hesitant, but once they got there, they were really into it. They enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a little strange experience at first, right? But the response you get from the community really makes you comfortable.
Yeah.
They thank you. The stories you hear at the kettle stand about how, maybe somebody who's an adult now and their family was served Christmas presents as they were growing up, or people will say, hey, my father served in the war and the Salvation Army, really took care of him, and he told me always to give to your kettle stands. It's really touching, and you really feel like you're doing something good.
When we come back, let's talk a little bit too about, you're an ordained minister.
Yes.
And I'd like to get your take on some of the traditional Christmas stories. We'll talk about that when we come back. Captain Michael Harrington's our guest. We're talking Christmas, Salvation Army. Short break, right back. And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. Captain Harrington is our guest. Captain Michael Harrington, he is in charge. It is 14 Clinton Place, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, 14 Clinton Place, Salvation Army. Lots of stuff goes on down there all year, but especially this time of the year. But in regular times of the year, you have your food pantry.
Yes.
Do you actually serve meals there, or is it carry out?
So we do both. We provide an on-site meal service, so those who are looking to come in, have a seat and get out of the cold or out of the warm temperatures, depending on the season, can have a seat. We'll take care of them. We're serving breakfast and lunch right now. And then we do have a food pantry so people can take grocery items home and prepare them at home.
How big has that food pantry gotten?
So it was very big during the pandemic. So we were serving outside, and we could serve 150 to 200 families in about 2 hours. So it was incredible the amount of people we had coming through.
Yeah. Is that all done by staff, or are you dependent on volunteers to come in and help?
So we have a lot of volunteers that participate in that. So over the past 2 years, we made wonderful connections to some great volunteers, but also some other local agencies that join alongside us while we serve in the food pantry or our soup kitchen. So right now we have what's called a daytime drop-in center to address the street homeless issue in Utica, as well as other vulnerable individuals in our neighborhood. So we have, every day we have community partners coming in that have access to our clients, or guests like I like to call them, in between meals. So we have Utica Family Health, Upstate Family Health Care Center come in, and they're providing COVID vaccines, tests, flu shots. They're able to just triage wounds for people who don't have health insurance, that don't see a primary care or wouldn't go to urgent care. So they are able to do that right on our site, as well as ACR Health, CFLR, with peer recovery services. So, you know, we're trying to do more than just food, and the community has come together to this one-stop shop type model, where you're coming in to get something to eat, but you could receive so much more. You could even meet with Department of Social Services on site, because a lot of people get discouraged about going down, waiting in line, and you know, they don't hear back. And some of the people we're working with don't have addresses. So we're able to allow them to use us as an address until they can get on their feet. And we're able to process rapid rehousing vouchers to get them from a bad situation into one that is more stable. So, and that's the hope. And then it doesn't stop there. They can always come back to the Salvation Army once they're stable. It's not for just when they're in crisis.
You told me a story before the show today about a gentleman that came in and was treated for one thing, and then they found out something else?
Yeah, so he came in for breakfast and noticed he had a limp, and asked him about his foot, and the healthcare center just happened to be there that day. They were able to take blood and bring it to the lab for him, give him some antibiotics, you know, and treat him right there and address the wound. But he had an infection in his body, and untreated, he would have died. And you know, once the blood work came back, they realized how serious his condition was. Well, this gentleman was homeless, so they had to go on the street to find him with the outreach workers, and they found him. When they found him, he was laying on the sidewalk, pale white, and you know, if untreated, he would have died.
Where did they find him?
I'm not exactly sure. I imagine down in the Oneida Square area, but you know, they shared that information with me the next day, that he was in serious condition, and were able to get him the help he needed.
Off the top of your head, if you were to add up the people that take advantage of the food pantry, the people who take care of coming in for a meal, people in your ministry, people who ring the bell, all the people that the Salvation Army in our area is touching. Any thought on how big of a number that would be? So
with so many programs, you kind of got to group them all together, right? So the food pantry, you know, we're doing unduplicated, you know, families, right? So you're talking families, you know, that can go anywhere from one senior living alone or one adult to, you know, a family of 6 or 7 in some cases. And so we reach quite a few. We're I would say tens of thousands access our programs, whether it's case management, adult health homes. We got this great program called Pathway to Hope that works with families with children, that is geared to break intergenerational poverty, to break cycles, that we walk, our care managers will literally walk through life with them, come visit them in their home, take them to appointments, call and schedule, make all the connections necessary to them, for the people to meet their dreams, right, and their hopes.
What will be going on at 14 Clinton Place on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day?
Well, Christmas Eve, we'll have a Christmas Eve service. All our services are in person and virtual now. So we kind of added that new technology to the mix, as did many churches. And then on Christmas Day, we'll be open to serve the homeless and most vulnerable who don't have a place to go.
Will there be any service on Christmas Day?
Well, we won't have an actual service on Christmas Day. We do that on Christmas Eve, but we will be providing services. And then my wife, Captain Simone, we're both ordained ministers, so we're there for pastoral care during those times. It's a difficult time for a lot of people with lost relationships, and a lot of the people we're working with, somebody's missing and loving and wanting someone to help them. Yeah. So we're going to fill that need.
Yeah, Captain Simone and you have been married how many years?
12.
12.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
No trick questions.
Nah, but it is the what's the right word? The method, the plan, the way the Salvation Army operates to ordain husband and wife into the ministry and then bring them to run the Citadel, right?
Yeah, so we have an interesting model. I love it. It's a family thing. So our whole family is involved. My wife and I, we went into the training college from Paterson, New Jersey. And, when you get out, when you go through the training college, you don't know where they're going to send you. So it's an exciting time. So we were very fortunate to land here in Utica, New York, and we're still in our first appointment, going on 10 years, mm-hmm. which is a long appointment as far as Salvation Army officers. But, it's great because my strengths are not her strengths, right? So the things that she brings to the ministry, I don't necessarily have those gifts. So we blend well together, and we help each other see things from different angles, and I think it gives us a well-rounded ministry.
Good for you. When we come back, I'm going to ask you about your take on some of those Christmas stories, which I was going to do a minute ago but didn't. Short break, right back. Captain Harrington. And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. Captain Michael Harrington is our guest. He's up at the Salvation Army on Clinton Place in Utica. Busy time of the year for the captain, busy time of the year for all of us, but especially for somebody who's trying to feed people and give gifts to people. Do any of the gifts, and I know it's big for the children, but do adults get gifts at all?
Sometimes. So we do have some special cases where there's developmental disabilities, and we'll serve an older adult who is looking for just a toy, right? They might be 20 some years old, but their mind level is much lower, mm-hmm. and they're excited about Christmas just like kids, so yeah. That's a beautiful gift. Mm-hmm. But we do serve the adult population as well, so mom and dad always gets a little something when mm-hmm. we do our distribution.
Do you do a regular Sunday service?
Yes, we do. So we meet every Sunday. We're a Bible-believing church. We have Sunday schools. We have our worship service begins at 11 a.m. on Sundays. We have Bible studies, prayer meetings, everything any other church would do, we do those programs as well.
Am I right in saying that Salvation Army ministry follows fairly closely Methodist?
Yeah, so William Booth, the founder, was a Methodist preacher who left the Methodist church because he felt like the church wasn't doing enough to serve the poor, the needy, and the marginalized. So him and his wife broke off, and they actually begun ministering to people in the streets of England, and that's how the Salvation Army was born, right? People just started, they saw a need, they started preaching the love of God and meeting human need where it was, and people were being saved, people were redeemed and recovered from addictions, and restored hope, and were able to, the people he was ministering to were the same people that were joining his ranks.
Mm-hmm. At a lot of people's homes, including yours truly, there's a manger scene. How close, you're an ordained minister, how close do you think that manger setting is as to what really happened?
So I love the manger scene, right? Because you can ride by any church. It's this time of year you see it and you're reminded of the birth of Jesus, right? The reason for the season. And everything in that manger scene has happened, right? And it might not have looked exactly like how we present it at our churches or in our lawns, but all of those events and all those people and all the stories of the individuals that gave gifts to the baby, it's real. It's in the Bible. Mm-hmm. So we believe in that story.
The starting of giving, we were talking before the show, and yes, the wise men brought gifts, but you're saying that it started before that.
Yeah, so God is the giver of every good and perfect gift, right? So he has given us, he's the creator of this world. He has given us life. And then we know in the book of Isaiah about the story of Jesus, he said, to us a child is born, unto us a son is given. And it says that upon his shoulders, the government will rest, and he will be called Wise Counselor, God Almighty, Prince of Peace, Everlasting God. And so God didn't withhold his own son for us, right? So it doesn't take us much to understand that we live in a fallen world that has good and evil, and Jesus is the remedy to that evil, right? So we are all able to get into right relationship because Jesus is the promised Messiah. That in the Bible, God promised a Messiah, and that Messiah is Jesus. One of the most, I know you love history, and as far as historic events, there's probably none more important, right, than the birth of the Savior of the world.
Mm. The goal of 70,000, what happens if you don't make it?
So if we don't make it, it kind of hampers some of our spending as far as the services that we provide. We like to think that we'll be able to continue to meet need at the level that we projected before the campaign. But, we may have to relook at some of the things that we had planned coming up because we can't outspend our budget, and that is part of it, and it's not all of it, but it's an important part. Mm-hmm. And it helps provide services not only for Christmas but all year round.
Mm-hmm. The number of people that you serve up there goes to pretty small kids, and I know you've got a gymnasium, a very nice gymnasium over there.
Yeah, so we have summer camps, we have a youth basketball team, and we're even looking to get more activities for adults over there. Mm-hmm. So we're looking to promote health and wellness inside our facility, and we're going to organize opportunities for moms and dads, right, to get out and to do some things, whether it's a little cardio, a little learning about healthy foods and nutrition, or maybe we just gather and have a co-ed volleyball night. Mm-hmm. but to get active, to get fun, to get moving, and to enjoy life.
We've got a minute left. If somebody wants to volunteer to come ring a bell, pretty easy to do.
Yeah, so simply call our office, 315-724-8736. So call us. If we don't answer, leave a message. We will get right back to you, and we will schedule you to their convenience, their choice.
And it's not a question of having to look for places. You've got the places.
We have the places. We need the ringers.
Okay. And give a call over there. You want a 2-hour shift, and that 2 hours goes by pretty quick.
It sure does.
All right. Good to see you. Merry
Thank you,
Christmas.
Joe. Merry Christmas to you. God bless you.
Thank you. That's going to do it for us this week, but we'll be back next week. We'll do it all again. Don't forget sanyhomepage.com. There's lots of good stuff there. Until next time, take care of yourself, everybody.